the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
The office of the Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah-Dame, and the Deputy, Mr. Chunibua Dua, Omo ascended this petition. Akoka Dr. Kesa Autoforce petition or the man Chief Justice. They say, "Yemfa case no and but live on TV na obia and share to say they were Supreme Court petition a call and they were LGBTQ cases na echo. Attorney General." Dr. Kesa Autoforce minority and a that of the Attorney General on Baba PM court. It will be televised, but Nina up to the Chief Justice Gertrude Chikono say Obejiatum say case ni televised. Now additional petitioner Attorney General Ayeka say. In the case of Judge Kwesi, daily, day by day hearing, because our person case will be over and done with. Now, I take unnecessary space and unnecessary attention from the Supreme Court judges and the legal system of the Republic of Ghana. Of course, it's also affected parliamentary proceedings, or say almost day by day trial. Now, you move to lawyer Paul Adam Ocho. The NTMA Dr. Kesa Autoforce in a control letter here, my Chief Justice, they say, or see meeting a course so Justice Uni Kolendi Fee, Supreme Court Judge, if he between Richard Japa and that of Godfred Yeboah-Dame. No say Nsem Richard Japa eba bekane true. Is it possible say Richard Japa betima kasa nsem in front of a Supreme Court judge, that is Judge Uni Kolendi, and also release WhatsApp chats a course so esanso bo audio nibium that of the National Democratic Congress on that compare that of the original audio for 5 minutes. Discussions are main issue now omo debate about, that is that of the letters of credit, whether letters of credit Dr. Kesa Autoforce in Troy Akoma Bank of Ghana some fine payment for the ambulance now. It suffices as a legitimate means of payment, and I say the Richard Japa say any tangible enough as a legitimate mode of payment. In summer a course so Justice Uni Kolendi Fee, according to that of lawyer Paul Adam Ocho, regarding the case of Dr. Kesa Autoforce and the ambulance case saga.
Supreme Court judges. Well, we have said it on Thursday the other day, but here is Richard Japa. Play back the teaser for me, please. Here is Richard Japa announcing to us who the Supreme Court judges. Listen.
That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Uni Kolendi, when Uni Kolendi's place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. Because me, for example, that is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue, me to go about my answer. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Uni Kolendi, when Uni Kolendi's place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having.
I was listening to Joy FM this evening, and they were talking about and the judge, and we don't know who the judge is. Didn't they listen to the tape? Didn't Joy FM hear the tape? What are we hypocrites? I mean, what's that? The guy, Richard Japa, said that anytime you bring up this, when we went to Uni Kolendi's house, who is Mr. Uni Kolendi? He's a distinguished justice of the Supreme Court of Ghana. And then all the publications say a certain Supreme Court judge. And today, the NDC in their tape, that's how I call it, because Frank Davis said it's doctored, you heard that already, and we have observed all kinds of things, but we'll get there. Today, Richard Japa in his testimony on the recorded tape, a tape that Richard Japa was aware that he was recording, discloses the name of a judge, and still media people sit on radio and say, oh, we don't know who this judge. Have you been told not to mention the judge's name, and therefore you are expressing your professional discredits that you heard the tape? Please play it again. Maybe I'm wrong. Play it again.
That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Uni Kolendi, when Uni Kolendi's place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. Because me, for example, That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue, me to go about my answer. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulendi, when Yoni Kulendi's place, anytime you bring this issue.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we now officially know. We can no longer say it's a certain judge whose name we don't know. It is the distinguished Yoni Kulendi, Justice of the Supreme Court, one of the most distinguished barristers of all time in Ghana. And he's the Justice of the Supreme Court, in whose house this meeting occurred. Now we are getting conflicting signals. How many times did the meeting occur in the judge's house? Now, if the NDC is alleging all of these things against Godfrey Dame, that he wanted to cajole Richard Jakpa to change his testimony, in fact, to tell lies, did this occur in Justice Kulendi's presence? Was Justice Kulendi there when the Attorney General was convincing his cousin, his brother, that he should tell lies? And what did Justice Kulendi say? And did Justice Kulendi preside over these meetings where the NDC is alleging that Jakpa was being cajoled by the Attorney General to speak things that are untrue in order to incriminate Atuforsen, the minority leader? All these things happen in the presence of such a distinguished judge in the judge's house. The judge was the host of the meeting. All of these things happen in the judge's house, and the judge was aware about it. He knows that Attorney General was sitting in my house as a Supreme Court judge and trying to tell my brother that he should speak lies. Was the Supreme Court judge in this meeting? Play the tape again. Let's hear the name of the Supreme Court judge.
That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulendi, when Yoni Kulendi's place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. Because me, for example, that is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue, me to go about my answer. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulendi, when Yoni Kulendi's place.
Okay, so at the outset, we know who the judge is. No issues. We're not pussyfooting about this. We know who the judge is. And media people who tomorrow morning come and sit on me, they say, we don't know who the judge is. We don't know. Were you not in the press conference when I said you get to play the tape? the doctor tape. Were you not there when he played it? And in the doctor tape, did you hear Richard Jakpa mention Kulendi's name? Why then are we continuing with it? I don't know who the judge is. A name withheld. Please. Here on Good Evening Ghana, we don't do that. That's why we have been here for so long. We speak it as it is. It's blunt. It is Justice Kulendi, one of the most distinguished barristers and a particularly distinguished judge. It was in his house that this meeting occurred. Jakpa is related to him, and that's the reason why he offered to host this meeting. That's the matter of. We'll see that the fundamental theory that underpinned the conversation was a disagreement about the import of LC within the context of the prosecution. That's fundamentally that. The fundamental thing in the theory of the conversation is that the two parties are disagreeing on the import, purpose, validation, the veracity of the letters of credit. Attorney General thinks the letters of credit mean this. Jakpa says no, the letters of credit means that. That's fundamentally what's on the tape. Nothing more. As far as we are concerned, nothing less. Have a listen, viewers. Have a listen. This is the substantial part of the tape. This one covered most of it. Have a listen.
No, the LC is established as soon as you sign the contract. You establish the LC, and that becomes the security comfort for the supplier to invest money.
It says LC's on site of goods are returned upon the sign of the contract.
Yes.
For every 50 ambulances.
Yes.
Yes. Which contract is this? It's not a contract for every ambulance. So under this main contract, this was like the main contract.
The main contract, and LC for every 50 of the 200. You said so. So the contract is not saying that government should establish one LC, which is 15.8 million euros for the whole 200 at a go. No, government has a bulk contract of 15.8 million euros. Now this contract will become, the ambulance will become in tranches of 50 ambulances. So you establish your LC for the 50. When that 50 have been delivered and everything sorted out and handed over, another LC is established for another subsequent 50 until you finish all the 200. That is what the contract says. So the LC that was established.
Even then, no. I don't agree with your explanation. But even then, this explanation, that's not what happened in this case.
Okay, what happened?
Yes, that's not what happened. Yes, because the LC was established even before pre-shipment inspection.
Yes.
Also,
yes.
There was no pre-shipment inspection. So, so it means there was no basis for the LC to be established in the first place.
No.
Really not your problem anyway.
Right, that place, in that particular place, you are getting it wrong. If you may have patience for me to explain to you, you are getting it wrong there because when you establish LC, the LC had conditions precedent for it to be on it, and the condition precedent states that you can only cash the LC when you present shipping documents, which is bill of lading, to the Ghana International Bank of the buyer before the LC can be honored. So even though the LC was established upon the signing of the contract, was supposed to be established upon the signing of the contract, it cannot be cashed or honored. It becomes a form of security for the supplier to invest his own money. And when he ships the ambulances, he can then send a bill of lading to your bankers to then honor the LC, because that is a condition precedent.
But in any case, in this case, even the LC was actually cash. Everything that payment was actually made before the goods were shipped.
No,
the goods got to Ghana.
No. Oh, yeah. He couldn't have the supply. There is no way under the sun he could have cashed the LC before the shipping document, which were condition precedent, was presented to Ghana International Bank. Even when he presented the document to Ghana International Bank refused to honor the LC, raising issues of discrepancy, which came back to Bank of Ghana, which later went to the Ministry of Health, and then Animana authorized Bank of Ghana through Ministry of Finance to pay because they had sorted out the discrepancies with Big C. That time, around this time, the ambulances had already arrived in Ghana. You are not privy to this one, I'm telling you.
Yes, that was the main conversation. This was it. The conversation was about the LC as done. No, I don't think the LC. This is what it was about. It wasn't a conversation to say I want to cajole you to say something to incriminate Atufosin. And so you had Jakpe's aggression because he knew he was recording, and he's a military captain. I've said that already. And the seconds on which he left the Ghana Armed Forces will be told to you, not today, but on Thursday. Because he knew he's recording, he was that aggressive. There's another matter about Jakpa that we have to look at. It's very complicated. That's a different matter. Thursday we're on him. All the text messages that he's exchanging with some people are coming and saying that look, the guy you are talking about, he had this meeting with me. He said that about President Mahama. That's a matter for Thursday. Leave it. Let's deal with this one. So the conversation is about LC. It's not about telling you, says, Jakpa, how are you? Listen, you have to be careful. You have to say this about 247 so that I can jail him. Nothing like that. In fact, it's where you will see that there was an obvious attempt to amend the contents of the tape. In that part, the Attorney General clearly is head saying, I do not need you to help my case. Because that has been the allegation of the NDC and the allegation of Sami Nsem-Pii here. That the Attorney General wanted Jakpa to help him to be able to jail Atufosin, and Jakpa said he won't do that. The Attorney General is head saying it clearly. I do not need you to help, even in the doctor tape. Then after that, they are listening, so they hear that this thing the Attorney General said, it is going to affect what we want to do. So then Jakpa starts talking in a certain way. You will see it. Please play the tape. Have a look.
What is my interest in it?
I'm not asking you to really help me. I'm just going by it. So anyway, so that's fine. So this one was even just by the way.
I hope you get my difficulty. It's because I'm innocent and I'm going through ordeal. So I'm looking at another person also going to go through ordeal, and through me, because I know the truth and I decide not to say it. About question sentence. If I go by that way, frankly speaking, what is my interest in it?
I'm not asking you to really help me. I'm just going by it. So anyway, so that's fine. So this one was even just by the way.
I hope you get my difficulty. It's because I'm innocent and I'm going through ordeal. So I'm looking at another person also going to go through ordeal, and through me, because I know the truth and I decide not to say it. About question sentence. If I go by that way, frankly speaking.
All right, viewers, I just want to take you through a small exercise. We'll play the tape again. The place where we put the 4 stars, if you listen carefully, viewers, you will see that after Gofredame, in a very low voice, I don't know why Jakpa was loud, because he was recording, he was very loud, and Gofredame was quite low. Gofredame says that I don't need help me to do the case. In any case, it's okay. I don't need to help me do the case. It's fine. That's what the Gofredame said. Then Jakpa is very loud and talks about, I have gone through ordeal. No, nobody is talking about. The man says, I don't need you to help me do my case. If you will not agree with me on what LC means, it's okay. We'll go to court and sort it out. No problem. I say LC is blue. You say LC is red. Okay, let's go to the court and sort it out. The judge will decide whether LC is blue or LC is red. I don't need to help my case. End of story. Then he goes on a tangent on, I have suffered, so I don't want another person, because he knew that he was recording and he was trying to build up this case. Very dishonest, very, very wicked people. Very wicked people. Terribly wicked people. Now, of Justice Kulendi. Now, this clearly shows that Japa is introducing. Also, not they didn't resist the temptation to put out text messages, WhatsApp text message. Let's put it out. And in doing so, they put some and release some. They put some and remove some. Why didn't they put everything out? Okay, I don't know whether our people have put it together. Have they? Okay. So let me read it as it is, and then we'll be handing over to the social media people. Richard Jakpa says, "Good afternoon, my brother. I'm Richard Jakpa, a junior bro of Justice Kulendi. Now, this clearly shows that Jakpa is introducing. He is introducing himself. He said, I'm Richard Jakpa, a junior brother of Justice Kulendi. You intervened to secure my bail some weeks ago. Then there's a message deleted. I'm humbly requesting for a time and venue at your convenience to meet you for a private discussion. I'm most grateful for the kind gesture from you. Hope to hear favorably from you, sir." And then says, "Thank you." Then Godfrey Dami says, "I will arrange through your brother. I am most grateful, bro." Something like that. Let's see what continues. He says that hope to hear from you favorably. I'm most grateful for the gesture. Thank you. And then here, Godfrey Dami says, "I will arrange through your brother." Richard Jakpa is the one who reaches out to the prosecutor and says that I am Richard Jakpa. He's introducing himself, a junior brother of Justice Kulendi. And he is telling the attorney that you have done something good for me. He says, "You intervened to secure my bail some weeks ago. I am humbly requesting for a time and venue at your convenience to meet you for a private discussion." He says, "I am humbly." This is the same guy who then comes, and you heard the tone of his voice, because today he knows that he's recording the attorney general and he thinks that he's going to get something major out of it. You heard the tone of his voice. Listen to the tone of his text and listen to the tone of his voice. You'll see a completely different person. This tone is different from the tone of shouting that I don't want another person to go to prison the way you want me to do it your way. The theory of the case, as Ayeka calls it, a deal. Viewers, I can't say more.